Right, hi Mike, here we are, we're in the potting shed.
Yes, so what I'm doing here is the very start of the whole process, which is sowing the seeds. And this is a module tray that we sow the seeds in, filled with organic compost. So what I do is, after filling it, water it nicely and then use this gadget, which is called a press board, just to make the dimples in the top of the compost. A little bit fiddly, but then you press it down and that does the job very quickly. Then I take the seed. This is Swiss chard seed.
Lovely.
And then very carefully, one by one, put it in each of the dimples. It's a bit of a production line. All the year round we have produce starting like this as seed, and then moving on to the greenhouse to grow a little bit, and then moving on from there to the polytunnel or the field. So it's a bit of a kaleidoscope that we work with, that you keep it turning all the year round and the patterns change, but the idea is to keep the ground full of crops and producing all year round. So lots of spring onions, which are going to go through the winter, and also Swiss chard that you saw us planting, leaf beet, lettuces, lots of different leafy brassicas. This is only in its second year of production, which is looking pretty good already in terms of the apples anyway. So this year we've had quite a lot of good apples. We've got 8 different varieties, but we've also got pears, plums, cherries, and these haven't been quite so good this year. It's just been so wet, and we also had a frost in May which didn't help. But at this stage we're pleased with the way that the apples are going. We've got over 600 trees altogether, and at the moment they are producing small amounts. When that builds up, we will be looking for other markets for the fruit, and we may well think about turning it into fruit juice, apple juice. We'll see about that in the future. So we've got 8 different varieties,
right,
and we chose them because they are actually modern varieties rather than ancient ones, and the reason for that is that they're much more disease resistant than the older types, and that means we can get away without using pesticides to the same extent that they do in conventional orchards. So we're happy about that because they're all organic. And the other thing to point out is that this is as tall as they're going to get.
Oh, right, okay.
Because they're being grown on what we call dwarfing rootstock. That keeps all the trees to this height, which is real handy when it comes to picking them. So we don't even need ladders, we can reach to the top of the trees from the ground. So this is a compost heap, and it's made with the grass that we've allowed to grow to about this tall between the alleyways of the trees, and we've cut that down and layered it with farmyard manure, and that's going to break down to make a lovely mulch, which we'll then put on at the bottoms of the trees to feed them. And this is the way that we provide fertiliser. It's completely natural. There's no artificial fertilisers or pesticides used.
So does the manure, is that coming from the local farm?
It's from a local organic farm. Well, we're trying to grow the kind of crops that survive in Cumbria outdoors. So for instance, here we have Savoy cabbage that's nearly ready, and on the same site we have leeks and parsnips and beetroot. To be honest, this has been a very difficult year with the rain that we've had, and it's made the ground very wet, and it's made it difficult to keep on top of the weeds, which is a big challenge organically. Most of it is done by hand. You'll remember the potting shed in the greenhouse where we sowed the seed and then took it to the greenhouse and raised it in those modules. This is what happens after about a month in the greenhouse. They get transplanted out into the beds here in the polytunnels. So what we have here are white turnips, and they're really good because you can eat the roots like regular turnips, but with these you can eat the tops too, and you just cook them up in stir fries or steam them, and they are really delicious. So if you get that in your box, you can use both the roots and the tops.
Eva's Organics is in Milton in Cumbria, and I'm talking to Debbie. Hi Debbie. Hello. Do you want to tell me a little bit about what goes on here?
Yes, indeed. This is our packing shed, as you said, and once Mike has done the harvesting at one or other of our sites, he brings the produce back here, and according to what's around this week, me and a helper pack the various boxes. People have their own invoices, and on here they can tell us what they definitely would like in their boxes, what they definitely wouldn't, and we pack according to the lists. So to supplement our veg production, we do also buy in from other organic growers, and some of them may even not be in the UK. We have bananas from the Dominican Republic. We have grapes, again, can't be grown locally, which would be great if they could, but unfortunately that's not possible. Where possible, we do buy fair trade, and so we think that's probably the best we can do.